Hey guys, M13 here, and I have a good topic. Well, you can see with the title of the video. Topic is, do cats actually cause mental illness? And of course, that will seem absurd to most of you. But I had a tour guest do my tour a couple of months ago, and I was talking with him. And he's quite literally a world-renowned microbiologist. No, not micro, molecular. That's a step past. It's literally like, it's about as deep into science as you can get with regards to human biology and well, pretty much just everything. Like it's like the top of science. Really should get someone smarter than me to talk about this. And keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing a lot of this. I don't have notes in front of me. I am riding a motorcycle in rush hour traffic, so if I misquote this a couple of things, cut me some slack. But yeah, the gist of it is, he was talking about toxoplasmosis, and he was saying that they found recently that toxoplasmosis is worse than they thought it was, and the virus actually like infects your like DNA and gets into the brain, and then is able to like replicate itself into like the gist of it was, it actually changes your DNA and it lives in your brain forever, and you can't ever fully get rid of it. Once you're infected for life, and it changes your brain like chemistry, and it infects your DNA. So it's a big deal. Like the symptoms of it, like when you go to the doctors and you have toxoplasmosis, and it's kind of like getting the flu, and you're sick for a couple of months, and then it goes away. So no big deal, right? But here's the thing: it's still in you forever, and they're finding out more recently. I wish I knew how to talk. It'd make vlogging easier. They found out more recently that it doesn't just stay in you; it actually affects like brain chemistry. And now this is interesting. They back when it was not illegal to say the truth, in other words, back before politically correct days, this molecular biologist, he went to France, and while he's traveled all over the world, but while spending time in France, he noticed that the French were just a little bit off, and this was something that any British person would have told you back in the 80s or 90s, that there's something a little wrong with people from France. So this is the thing. If you look into French history and culture, they used to have a very, very close relationship with cats. Cats carry toxoplasmosis. Long story short, they actually checked, and they found out that the majority, I think it was like more than 70% of all French people have toxoplasmosis, like in their genetics, to the point where it's like it's being passed down now, and it's just from being close to cats. You know the expression "mad as a hatter"? Where does that expression come from? It comes from the fact that hatters, people that made hats back in the day, used to work with mercury, and they didn't know that mercury is as toxic as it is, but it's a neurotoxin, so it literally makes people go crazy. So at some point they just noticed that people who made hats were a bit different, and they were, a bit odd. So the expression came around, "mad as a hatter." See, this is back before when you were allowed to tell the truth. If you noticed that people who made hats were strange, you were allowed to say, "people who make hats are strange." Nowadays, you're not allowed to say that about any type of a group of people, because that's called generalizing, and it's the worst sin you can commit in the 21st century. But yeah, so "mad as a hatter" came around from the fact that people who made hats were going crazy because of the toxins they were working with. There's also another expression you maybe have heard of: "crazy cat lady." Maybe so people think that crazy women get cats. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe perfectly normal women go out, get a cat, and then because of the toxoplasmosis, then become crazy. Because, like, how many long-term studies have been done on toxoplasmosis? Well, I think some have been done because I was told by one of the world's top molecular biologists that this is fairly recent information, that this is coming out. And I find this highly interesting. I've been to France. I didn't I didn't socialize enough to notice if they were mentally ill or not, but I did find them in general to be one of the coldest, rudest countries I've ever been to in my life. Yeah. But how interesting is that? So yeah, the reason I thought about this for a while, like when I was talking with the molecular biologist about it, and yeah, that car just totally ran a red light. But since then, what made me think about it was I was looking at a friend of mine's face. Oh, plus there's a couple of examples. There's a friend of mine, a girl that I know, and I'm not gonna get too much into the details for her own anonymity. But there's a girl that I know, and when she was young, she took in a stray cat, and then her parents didn't allow her to have pets. So what she did was she hid it in her room. And she was laughing about it and telling me how, like, the cat would sleep with her in her bed, and how it would, like, pee and poop on her bed, and how she was a kid and she just kept this stray cat. Like, the chances of this stray having toxoplasmosis are extremely high, especially considering it was a stray. And the fact that it was defecating in her bed means the chance of her having toxoplasmosis, again, very high. And she is now, like, full-on, like, bipolar, should be medicated, but she isn't mentally ill. I've known her for a while, and I know her well enough to state, like, she's suffering from mental illness. And I was like, because I knew that she needed help, but I never made the, but then after talking to the molecular biologist about cats and toxoplasmosis, then I remembered the story that she told me about how she used to keep a cat in her bed when she was a child. And it was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. So yeah, it's just a theory I have that's rooted in truth and science and some generalizations, but nonetheless, it's interesting. And that's my video, which belongs to me and begins here, thin at one end, fat in the middle, and thin at the other end. You got anything to say, Charmaine? Charmaine?